Hello and welcome to another episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. This is Beriathan of the Citadel Guard of Gondor, and we are back in the Blackwood Vale. So we are investigating some sort of mystery here with Uidor, so let's see what comes next in this sort of investigation.
Ludir, what business could Egnir have with him? Ludir patrols the northern road that leads to Fennas Dûr, to the Pass of the Dead. I do not like this at all, my friend. Seek out Ludir and see if Egnir is still with him.
Beriathan, how you found Egnir? You inform Uidor that Egnir passed through Alagran to deface an old carving on one of its trees, but then left to meet with a man named Ludir. Ludir? What business could Egnir have with him? Ludir patrols the northern road that leads to Fennas Dûr, to the Path of the Dead. After the king pardoned the better-hearted of their kind, we thought the dead would not trouble us any longer. How wrong we were. Ludir's even had to shorten his patrols of late, since the ruthless dead now dare to drift further from the darkness of the Haunted Mountain. Why would Egnir want to go there? I have not known him and Ludir to be particularly close, friendly as they are to each other. I do not like this at all, my friend. Seek out Ludir and see if Egnir is still with him. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to going back to the paths of the dead. You see how those guys were kicking us, and of course I've been reviewing my footage, and I mean, I know there's some room for improvement on my gameplay. Been playing pretty casually, but every time I review my footage, especially when I die, I see some skills I could have used and some things I could have missed. Some of them were very, very hard to avoid. Some of them weren't. So well, all that is to say, yeah, don't hold it against me. I've never intended to be an exemplar of any kind of Warden gameplay. I enjoy the class a lot, and I do my best to learn it and play it to the best of my abilities, but of course there's always room for improvement. At least on my case, I have never considered myself to be a top tier player, and well, on landscape difficulty, I just tend to be more casual as well, of course. Even at the fearless and higher, I just don't pay that much attention to it like the vast majority of the player base, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm excusing myself, so I guess I'm gonna shut up about that. And let's see what Ludir will tell us now. I, of course, remember seeing him last time we were here for the epic. And there we go.
Hail! Take care, traveler, for the road ahead is treacherous. Turn back or... Oh, wait a moment. I remember you. You were the one who came through the Pass of the Dead.
Beriathan, was it? What can I do for you? You ask Ludir if he has seen a man named Egnir. Ludir's face sinks, and his eyes. Yes, I have seen Egnir, but he isn't well. He's gone up the road toward Fennas Dûr, and he's been losing arrows at the ruthless dead for hours. I do not know what has gotten into him, but he must carry some terrible burden on his heart. I have heard him call out to them, taunt them, scream at them until his voice was hoarse, and still he continued, as if he labored in service of some unknowable quest. The dead will tire of him sooner or later, and I would not see him throw away his life now after he survived the war. He would not listen to me when I told him he ought to return to Morlat, but perhaps he'll listen to you. If nothing else, at least convince him to leave this place. You kinda see where this is headed, or at least I hope I'm seeing where this is headed, but let's see. Well, at least we don't need to go that far. With a bitter gaze fixed upon the ruthless dead, Egnir barely acknowledged your approach.
Weedle is a wise man, but grief does not make a good bedfellow of wisdom. That is the very reason why I left. When my grief turned to anger, I found my own hand destroying something dear to me. Something irreplaceable. I stopped myself before it was too late, but even so, I could not check the anger in my heart.
What do you want? Egnir does not turn to face you, and his gaze remains fixed on the ruthless dead along the road ahead. You tell Egnir that you were sent by Uidor to ask him to return to Morlad, and you mention that Uidor seemed worried about him. Uidor is a wise man, but grief does not make a good bedfellow of wisdom. That is the very reason why I left. When my grief turned to anger, I found my own hand destroying something dear to me, something irreplaceable. I stopped myself before it was too late, but even so, I could not shake the anger in my heart. In my journey back from the war, I learned that not all of the dead heeded the summons of King Elessar, and that those wretched spirits still haunted the Vale. And so I turned my anger upon them, hoping beyond hope that I would find some reprieve from my grief. Alas, I have not. I have vanquished dozens of these ruthless dead, but always they return and I feel no better for it. And now my anger has all but burned out. It is curious though. Each time I slay one of them, they leave behind a pile of glimmering dust. Is it their essence? It always seems to fade away to naught after a time, and then there they are again, reborn into redless dead. Have you ever seen such a thing? If you would gather some of it, I can show you. Oh, okay. We technically don't need to defeat them, but since we are going up the paths of the dead again, we'll most likely need to fight some of them anyway. So it seems to me this is where we, or well, where everyone, where the game wants you to advance the epic of defeating ruthless dead in the Blackroot Vale. After you defeat them, then you go talk to Duinhir and Rosfin, and then that's when you are sent to Anfalas, right? So it seems, well, you would avoid a lot of backtracking if you just advance the epic while you come here to fight the Ruthless Dead or Egnir. And well, you also fight some of them when you are tracking the children at the Stone of Eric. So yeah, it seems like that's the best way to go if you are trying to optimize your timing here and fight as little of these guys as possible, because one, they're pretty tough, two, they don't give you any progress for any deed, and three, time is of the essence, right? Especially if you're eager to go to Umbar like everybody else. So well, I'm taking some notes so that when I come here with my other Warden, I'll do that precisely and save some time as well. Now, as I imagined, defeating the Ruthless Dead, of course, will also drop the glimmering dust that we need to collect for the quest. So that's something. And of course, these guys. And this sucker in here is also gonna come. Crap! Yeah, can you please all leave me alone? Christ, thank you. Really don't need any more of this. I don't want to see you guys ever again. And who knows if we'll be able to banish them for good at some point. I don't know.
I try and I try to make sense of this world. But how can I do that? Look at these turncoats and murderers. They persist evermore, flitting through the world of the living. We are made to think they suffer some terrible curse. When good man, perishes, no matter how valiant his deeds or how pure his love, he is simply dead. There is nothing that can be done for him. If only Derufin had broken an oath.
Oh, do you see? Egnir takes the dust from you and casts it into the wind. It appears to vanish before it ever touches the ground. It seems that no matter how much of this dust I collect, they still remain. How can you take so much of someone and expect anything to be left? How queer to think that my envy is such a fate. Egnir chuckles weakly. I try to make sense of this world, but how can I do that? Look at these turncoats and murderers. They persist evermore, fleeting through the world of the living, and we are made to think they suffer some terrible curse. But then, a good man, perishes. No matter how valiant his deeds or how pure his love, he is simply dead, and there is nothing that can be done for it. Oh, if only Derufin had broken an oath. You notice Egnir has begun to weep, and his once stern-up countenance has broken. You comfort him as best you can. He begins to sob, and after a time he steadies himself and turns to face you. I mourn the life I had wished to live, my friend. Derufin had not even told Lord Dwinghere of us before the war took him, and so who now am I to the Lord? One of 1,000 bowmen, but perhaps the only one who truly knows his loss, and maybe that is enough. You need not ask again, Beriathan. I'll return to Morlad. Okay, that's not the ending. Well, it was the ending I was expected, but then it was not. I never thought that the letter D on that tree would stand for a Derufin. That's kind of a big surprise, to be honest. Professor Tolkien, of course, never mentioned anything like this in their books. Every time two men professed their love for each other, was something very, let's say, platonic, in a way. The bonds of friendship and all that, well, Frodo and Sam are the biggest example of that. So yeah, I was not expecting that revelation. And I think I'm gonna let it there, because this matter, it's quite delicate, and it's risky that the team is trying to include all these aspects in the game, and well, to be honest with you, not all of them sit well with me. Well, I haven't mentioned that a lot, but all those instances where we have made characters that are referred with the gender neutral of they, well, for me as a non-English speaker, I am still getting used to that, but it still feels weird to me in some cases, especially because, well, most of the character models in the game are not that ambiguous. When you see a character in game, you know if that was a male or female model. So I always wonder why they didn't use the he or she. But as I said, we see that we don't need to return to the Blackford Vale to Morlad, really. Anyway, as I was saying, we have seen that the LOTRO team has touched upon these inclusion matters ever since they updated the human avatars on update 35. They expanded the racial options and removed a lot of restrictions, and it didn't sit well with everybody that time as well. Me personally, I don't mind. I mean, you see, most of the time I run solo, I have created my characters the way I want them to, and if you want to create another character with the new options available since update 35, well, you can go ahead and do it. And if you find a role-playing option for that, that's great. Or if you're just doing this as a self-insert or because you think it's fun, well, that's, well, as well, by me. So that portion I don't mind as much, but this other portion of the pronouns, it doesn't bother me, but it seems unnecessary for me because, as far as I understand, you use that neutral they when you are not sure of somebody's gender. And as I said before, the LOTRO models are very clear about that. There is not a lot of room for doubt. So that one I think was a little bit unnecessary, and this one with Egnir and Derufin, it's a little bit risky, but in the end, it's a very small quest. Who knows if there will be any follow-up to these in the future? It could not. Even if there is, it'll be a long time before we go back to the Blackroot Vale, I guess. So, yeah, it's just a very, very small portion of it. And just because the professor never mentioned this kind of relations, it doesn't necessarily mean they didn't exist. After all, if Middle-earth is supposed to be our own world, there's nothing stopping two men falling in love with each other. What would be really interesting, but even more risky, I would say, is if they try to explore how these kind of news and these kind of relations were seen by society and how they were received. And that's maybe when this discussion will turn into something delicate, because there will be some people saying this never appeared in the books and this is defamation of what the professor wrote. Some others would say the professor never said anything against it, so there's no reason why it shouldn't exist. Some people would mind, some people would not. So as I said, I think that's as far as I will get in that discussion. I don't have anything against it. As far as I'm concerned, you are free to love who you want to love. It's just that I wasn't expecting to find this in a Lord of the Rings game, and it caught me by surprise, but hopefully this will not be an issue, and I'm not gonna say anything else about the matter. Are we gonna get a follow-up now to the prank they played on Melril, who's behind the tinkering of the bounty board?
Oh, hello! I haven't seen you in quite some time. I'll have to tell Sardol that you're back. What brings you to Sardol?
You inform Melian that you have come on behalf of King Elessar to deliver a message to the people of Sardol. Melian gathers the other inhabitants of Sardol, introduces you as an emissary of the king, and gestures for you to speak. You offer your sincere gratitude to the people of Sardol, and they appear to be heartened by your words. You apologize on behalf of King Elessar for the severe edicts during the war, including the brief suspension of their hunts by order of Malthalam, and for the failure to make safe the road through Tarlang's crown. At the mention of Tarlang's crown, a few hushed voices whisper to each other in the crowd. As you finish your remarks, the inhabitants of Sardol offer you their thanks. I had no idea you'd become an emissary of King Elessar, my friend. What an honor! It is good to know that the king has not forgotten us and that he was thoughtful enough to send someone who was a great help to us during the war. Like many others in the Vale, we lost some of our young men in the war, for they were among Lord Dwinghere's company when he marched to Minas Tirith. Your words have soothed some of our hurts, but only time can heal what remains. But I would not lay such things at your feet or at those of the king. It is the enemies of Gondor who slew our bowmen, and the the king has made certain that many of them have been repaid. I must warn you though, there are still some unsavory folk lurking along the road through Tarlang's crown. Yeah, I have noticed that. But it is not like it was, not like when the so-called heir of Castamir Azrutor first set his encampment upon it. It is good to see you again, Beriathan, and you're always welcome among us. Yeah, please advance the quest. Take your time,
talk
but
to Bregon and see what you can make of his claims. He says he was run out of Tarlang's crown by Corsairs.
I must say it is good to see you again, Beriathan. Little has changed since you were last in Sardol, I must admit, but at least the spiders have not troubled us nearly as much of late. However, aside from those who returned from the war, we do have one unexpected guest, and that would be that man over there named Bregon. Amathan sighs. He seems a rough sort, and by his own admission he was a freebooter during the war. He says he was run out of Tarlang's crown by Corsairs, but I thought that the heir of Castamir Azrutor who led them was slain. Why would they linger there, eking out the meager life of a highwayman? when they could surely find better fortunes elsewhere. Is Umbar in such a poor state that this seems the wiser choice? I do not know for certain, but from what I have heard, there is something afoot across the Bay of Anfalas. Why don't you talk to Bregan and see what you make of his claims? Sure. And let me pick this other one too.
Oh there! I remember the last time you were here. All that nasty business with spiders and the dead.
But that is in the past, and now we have welcomed some of our proud bowmen back to Sardol. I only wish more of them had made it home from the war. Citadel pauses for a moment and sighs. There are joys still to be found, though, and one of mine is a delicious mushroom stew that my neighbor Garthwen makes every so often. Garthwen's a brilliant cook, though she is far too modest to say as much. For her stews, she uses a mushroom native to the Blackroot Vale that we call silken cap on account of its pale hue. The trouble is that silken caps only grow in a few places, but they are most plentiful in Lingroth. I don't think I need to remind you that the spiders of Tarlang's peaks can also be found within these caverns, but Garthwen's supply has run out. It may not be as dire a problem as the dead or the Corsairs, but I would appreciate your aid just the same, my friend. Little joys are what keeps us together after all. Would you collect some silken cap for me and Garthwen? Really? Back to Lingroth? Ah, Christ.
You're the king's emissary, aren't you? Oh, I've done it now. It's like I told Amathon. There's a bunch of Corsairs making trouble in Tarlang's crown and snooping about in that old camp.
What do you want? Bregan eyes dart around to the other inhabitants of Sardol, and he appears deeply uncomfortable to have caught your attention. You're the king's emissary, aren't you? The one called Beriathan? Oh, I've done it now. Bregan shakes his head. It's like I told Amathon, there's a bunch of Corsairs making trouble in Tarlang's crown and snooping about at that old camp. Yes, it is true that I was something of a freebooter during the war, but I've learned my lesson, I swear it. As for the Corsairs, I don't know what they're up to, but it can be good. Go on and see for yourself if you don't believe me. Yeah, I did. I already been there. Come on. This is, of course, a painful backtracking. If only we could have gotten those quests the first time we were here. For that reason, I still need to test that out, but it seems... Well, the most time efficient route then will be coming through the to the Blackroot Vale through Lamedon. You would avoid a lot of fighting, and you will come to Landcraft, but... the only quest you'll get there... Well, apart from the bounty... No, that's it. Then you need to... Well, you need to go to Morlad to start working as the emissary and unlock the vast majority of quests on the other towns. And that is a very weird choice because, realistically speaking, it doesn't matter where you come from. Morlad is gonna be one of the last towns you're visiting here. So any way you look at it, you might be faced with backtracking one way or another. Oh, for God's sake, please die. And we need 10 of this. Really not looking forward to it. Any heavy chest in here? Yeah. Any way you look at it, I'm gonna spend here a little bit longer. I hope it's worth it. I hope that heavy chest is worth it. Oh, Christ. Please don't lag in here. Please don't lag in here. I cannot afford that today. Oh, really? Let's see if I can grab this one without attracting the attention of the spiders. Awesome. Well, at least this one does count for a deed. So it doesn't feel like you're wasting your time. Did I end up pulling another one? A few of them, it seems. Christ's sake. The Umbar chest. Can I pick that one up without alerting the Ruthless Dead? I don't think so. Unless, let me try that out because it's worth trying out. If I can avoid a fight here. Yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, you get dropped out of stealth every time you try to use an item, so this was really not that... Christ. It's a very weird place for the Ruthless Dead to hang. I mean, the only thing you have here are spiders and more spiders. Nothing really important to guard anything. Please, would you please? Thank you. I just hope this was worth it. A little bit. Just one more of this. And then we'll run. Oh, they respawn. This is great. Oh my god, no! Please, for Christ's sake, stop lagging because I really need to defeat these guys. Okay, I thought I was done for. That was great. That was pretty great. Might as well take this one now that we're here. That was pretty great. And thankfully we can just avoid all these spiders now. How many were there? Like 5, 6 spiders? Had to abuse the life taps, of course, but I'd say it was pretty well worth it. We gotta go back to Malthalam anyway, so let's see. I don't think we're gonna get any other follow-up here in the Blackroot Vale. This seems to be the end of it.
At last you return, my friend. What had the folk of Alagrant, Tingerbell, Sardol and Lungcraft to say of King Elessar's gratitude? I hope they were a more welcoming sort than you encountered here in Morlard.
Kinda. You told Malthalam that the inhabitants of the Blackroot Vale were largely accepting of King Elessar's gratitude, but that the people of Lungcraft, in particular, have taken issues with the choices of King Elessar. I see. I commend you for taking on such a task, my friend. It is a difficult thing to stand before people and speak on behalf of another, knowing that words alone will not satisfy them. Always there are questions you cannot answer, fears you wish you could comfort, and promises that you cannot make, knowing you may not fulfill them. As steward of the Vale, I am no stranger to being put in such a position, but for one to speak with the voice of the king carries even greater expectations. I do not envy you. It shall be some time before Lord Dwingir is able to return to his duties, Beriathan. In the meantime, I shall try my best to serve in his stead. With that out of the way...
A king has come again to Gondor.
A king has come again indeed. I think that's the end of it. Once again, I really don't expect to find anything else in Morlad specifically. Here are your mushrooms and enjoy your stew.
Oh, you have them. Thank you. That ought to be enough to make a few pots of stew at least.
Venison is pleasant enough, I'll admit, but I prefer a bit of variety in my meals. You understand, don't you? And there truly is nothing quite like these silken caps. Here, Beriathan, I actually still have a little over from the last time I was able to sneak a few mushrooms out for Garthwen. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you for not forgetting about us, my friend. Okay, so... yeah, I can open it. Once again, gonna take the ore, but... I think I'm gonna go with Kalinard, because it's one of the hardest tiers to farm, in my opinion. The more time-consuming ones. Kalinard, Rittermark, and Eorlingas are very... time-consuming. Oh, another one in here. Cool. I kinda remember you as well.
It's been some time, my friend. I, for one, have not forgotten how you helped the people of the Blackroot Vale. If it were not for you, we might still be troubled by those terrible water spirits, and worse yet, we might still be beset by the Corsairs and that so-called heir of Castamere.
You took up in Tarlang's crown, and now I hear tell that you've become one of King Elessar's emissaries after serving in the war. I say it is an honor and one well deserved. No matter what some others in the Vale might think of the new King of Gondor, a fine honor indeed. I'm afraid there isn't much trouble about Sardol, at least not like there was during the war. I've heard that some of the Corsairs and some deserters have made their way onto Tarlang's crown, but it'll come to nothing, I think. It may not be much, but I could use a little help today. If you can spare the time in the course of your errands for King Elessar, would you take the nest near the pier for fish and bring me whatever you find? I've been coming up with small fish all day, so I don't want to let the big ones swim by while I'm not paying attention. Okay, these ones, yeah. Now that you mentioned the dark waters, I remember a little bit better. A few fish were caught in this net. This one is empty. This one too. A few fish. And another empty one. I'm sorry. No big fish this time around.
I don't have anything else to ask of you, but would you stay and fish with me for a time? The nets work well enough, of course, but I find that taking the time to fish can ease my mind. There's just something right about it, I think.
Not a bad catch for today, then. You can toss those in the bucket there, Beriathan. I don't have anything else to ask of you, but would you stay and fish with me for a time? The nets work well enough, of course, but I find that taking the time to fish can ease my mind. There is just something right about it, I think. And to be honest, I would welcome the company. All of these bowmen back from the war, and it seems not one of them is a fisherman. Gordir laughs to himself, but it seems half-hearted. He looks out at the River Morthon for a moment and then looks back to you. What do you say, my friend? Yeah, I think I get what you mean. No fisherman that went to the war would come back alive. I don't think so. Let's see what we can fish. Anytime now they're gonna bite. Yeah. Okay, Morthon pike. My inventory is full, what a shame. Let me see if I can sell a couple things, one or two, so that I can free up some backspace. I really need to take the time to really sort this out. I have a lot of things I don't need, like all this Cardoon jewelry. I think I'm gonna out-level pretty fast if I haven't already, so maybe I can do away with that. That's at least 5 slots. That will be great because, man, really need to take the time to sort out my inventory now. Oh, this one didn't take as long, thankfully.
Three pike is a fine bounty, I'd say. Very good. Thank you for taking the time to fish with me, my friend. It's been too long since I last had company on the pier.
Our time together has done much to raise my spirits, and I know that you have many other errands upon which to spend your time, so I appreciate it all the more, my friend. If you ever find yourself back in Sardol, you're always welcome to fish the Morthon with me. Yeah, seems that was it. There we go. So now, one last exploration of the crown. Oh, jeez. Yeah, afterwards, we'll finally be going to brand new territory. Outer Gondor. It's still Gondor, but it's new. It's something we have never seen before. As far as I know, in Outer Gondor, we'll have Anfalas and Pinath Gelin. I'm not sure. I think there is another area in Outer Gondor, but I am not 100% sure. Please tell me you cleared them all up. I really could do without the fighting. You notice the damage that Mulder and Barricade left behind from Asbutor's campaign. It seems the Corsairs have abandoned this barricade, perhaps lacking the men to hold it. Follow the road deeper. They notice a small encampment that has clearly been abandoned by the Corsairs of Umbar. It appears this camp was ransacked and its heraldry torn apart after Azrotor's campaign failed. At least don't make me go back. Please. I mean, by the looks of it, it's gonna take us right to the bridge where we can cross into the Anfalas. So I really don't see why we would need to go back to Sardol after this. Alright, these are all adorned chests for the Western net tier. We really don't need that. And we don't want that. How many? Christ. On the other hand, if I die, I think at this point it will be faster. It'll take us closer to where we need to go. Maybe. No. What we're looking for is still not by the bridge. I thought it would be. But it seems we need to check. Azrotor's tent. Really? You're gonna make me check this tent? Have you seen how many guys are there? And you wanna... might regret this, but we gotta go. Christ! Could have been better, could have been worse. Thank God. You find nothing of note as Azrotor's tent has been pillaged and left in ruin. Talk to Amathon in Sardol. God, we are... we are right here! Why do we need to backtrack? No! No! Oh! I gotta tell you. The Blackroot Vale has been my least favorite area of the expansion so far. Really doesn't this doesn't make any sense.
I never thought to see such happy days as these.
It does make some sense, but it's highly inconvenient. Here I thought we were just a few steps away from crossing into Outer Gondor, but at this rate, that'll come on the next one. That's a bummer.
What did you find out, my friend? Was there any truth to Bregon's claims?
You tell Amathon that while you did find a company of Corsairs in Tarlang's crown, it appears they have only returned to pillage what remains of Azrotor's encampment. Let us hope that is the case, my friend. I doubted much of note remained after the heirs of Castamir were routed, but part of me still feared there could be some new conspiracy afoot. It is reassuring to know that my fears were ill-founded. Thank you, my friend. I am glad that the king thought to send you on his behalf. Yeah, anytime. Now, finally, travel south to the Blackwood Vale in King's Gondor and join Elessar on the road to Anfalas. This one in here by the camp. I mean, right here. I mean, I can really just... Let me see. Anfalas and Pinat Galen, and yeah, seems to be... Andrast. Okay, we cannot go to Andrast yet. I'm well aware you can just go back to Belfalas and from there right to the entrance to the Anfalas. And that could certainly work, but for immersion's sake and for my own pride. The game is telling me right from the Blackwood Vale into the Anfalas, and that I will. Hopefully the roads will be clear enough. Please tell me somebody else has cleared the camp for me, because that was a great help. Otherwise, if I gotta do this on my own again, that'll be a tough one. Oh, you can see a tower there in the distance. Cool. I like this picture. The remnants of Tarlang's crown and the heirs. Abandoned camps, burned tents, and banners. Nobody here? Oh, thank you. Oh, no. I don't know what I want to do. Do I want to run as fast as I can and see if I can avoid them all? Or do I want to play it smart, maybe? And pick my battles? I mean, we have already spent the entire episode in here in the Blackwood Vale again. Even if we rush it, I don't think we'll have enough time for Outer Gondor much this day. So, might as well see if I can snap a few cool pictures out of this, like this one in here. Azrotor's tent. Or what remains of it, in any case. Yeah, I like that one. And the exit is not that far off anyway. Oh, didn't see you there. Andorian freebooter. Another one? Ah, for God's sake, you knew, you totally knew. You cannot expect me to believe this path this lookout in here was taken was totally random. Game friggin' knew. least this one we can avoid. Cool. Asrotor's Rue. Again. Yeah, I still think the picture of the tent was better. Where was that bridge that we saw in the... okay. I think I see it. Not yet. That's where we need to go anyway. There we go, the bridge. You see, we could have just let them take us down and we would have respawned right by the bridge, but... no, my own self-pride. Well, I'm not gonna let them get me. Intentionally, no. If they want me, they gotta fight for it. I'm not gonna make it any easier on them. Oh! Cool, here they are. King Elessar and Queen Arwen greet you warmly as you approach, but I don't think you're gonna like this.
Thank you for going on my behalf to Morhard.
How fares the Lord of the Blackwood Vale and his wife and people? You give your account of the grim sentiment that pervades the Vale and the words of its ruler. Elessar nods. Duinhir and Rosfin suffered much during the war, and the wound that is the loss of their sons can never truly be mended. I knew it was so, but I let my other concerns guide me and erred by sending you there. I should have gone as well, Beriathan. On my return journey after we see Anfalas, I will go to the Vale and speak with them personally.
This is the road to Anfalas, westernmost fief of my husband's kingdom.
He has spoken to me of its ruler, Galasgil, who marched to the defense of Minas Tirith, with a number of soldiers and his household guard. He perished at the Battle of the Moranons, moments before the defeat of Sauron, and Elessar grieves that he sacrificed so much and never saw the victory for which he died. I understand he asked you to bring to his people word of his bravery in the face of death. Galasgil or Galasgil? What's the right way to pronounce this? I'm not sure. But, okay, here we have the King and Queen. Well, we're ready to cross into the Anfalas. Now entering Eminterg. Okay. Okay, it's a small right, maybe, to the town, so... oh. I think we have enough time for this other one. Oh, you can see Edelon from here as well. Cool. And Dol Amroth. So cool. I mean, Dol Amroth here at sunset looks really nice. Wow. Amazing. Can only imagine what it would look like in the morning, for example. Wow. Wow, this looks... oh, and the White Mountains also look really nice. If I can get the tree out of the frame. Nah. Struggling too much with that, and time is of the essence. We just have a few minutes to get there. Okay. Oh, who do we have in here? Ah, that's a Corsair. Alright, no. I can avoid you for the time being. still quite far. I thought it would be a little bit closer. Everybody says Peanut Galleon is one of the most beautiful areas ever in LOTRO. I'm really looking forward to that one, but we gotta do Anfalas first. And from what I heard, the last guild also has quite a fan base. I'm really looking forward to see what they do in here, and once again, this is also the very first new landscape that we can check. Entirely new. No idea what to expect, no idea where to go. The map does give you a good idea of what to expect maybe, but still brand new. Weaponsmith scroll case. Okay, let me see what I got. Already know this one. Shame. Now, somebody tell me, please, why am I not getting any more tokens? Seems so wrong. Well, it seems that's where we're headed. It's like a tower, a beacon of sorts. I just want to get there and a safe spot to rest. There we go. This is a lovely town. Have discovered Melgobas. Yeah, this is truly something like we have never seen. The smell of salt and the cries of gulls hang over the fishing village of Melgobas. So here we have Legolas and Gimli. Elessar, Arwen, Eladan, and Elro here. Where's the rest of the crew? Well, the Swan Knights and Lindor.
Good.
And everybody else. I don't know. But we truly don't have enough time to check out today, so this is gonna be the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you on the next one. Until then, my friends, stay safe, take care, good luck to you all, and I will see you later.